Katrina here. Today I'm going to show you how to take the inverse of a nonlinear function. In my previous video, I showed you the step-by-step process of how to take the inverse of any function, and we did an example showing a linear function. Right now, I'm going to show you an example where it's nonlinear. For this example in particular, we're going to consider a quadratic function. So here we have y equals to 2x squared plus 5. Let's now go through all the steps algebraically we need to do in order to find the inverse. The first thing we want to do here, since our function is already with respect to y and x, is that we want to swap their places. So let's do that. Now we have x equals to 2y squared plus 5. Now that we've swapped places, we need to now isolate for y, so we can rewrite this function as an inverse. So to isolate for y, we're first going to subtract 5 from both sides. So we've got x minus 5 equals to 2y squared. From here, we need to divide both sides of our equation by 2. This gives us x minus 5 over 2 equals to y squared. So how can we get rid of this square over here? So the inverse operation to square is the square root. And it's important that you always take the positive and negative of the square root so that you don't miss any values. So that means that y equals to plus or minus square root of x minus 5 divided by 2. And that's it. The last step we have to do is just write y as f inverse of x equals to plus or minus root x minus 5 over 2. So let's now take a second to analyze what we have going on over here. So our original function was a parabola. We can see that it has a vertical stretch by factor of 2, and it's been shifted up 5 units. So if we were to give this a rough sketch, our original function would look something like this. And like I mentioned in my last video, when we take the inverse, that means that we're actually reflecting the function across this line of y equals to x. So now that we've done that reflection, let's see what our new function is here. So we can see that we have an x-intercept at 5, and now we have this new function that exists over here. But we have to be careful. This new quote-unquote function is actually not a function. It's not a function because it does not pass the vertical line test. We can see that for one value of x, we have 2 values for y, and that means that it's not actually a function, it's a relation. So that's something that we have to be really careful about, is that even though we start with something that's a function, we know that this is a quadratic function, it passes the vertical line test. But now that we've taken the inverse and reflected it over this line y equals to x, we no longer have a function, we simply have a relation. So that's something fun to think about, that an inverse of a function is not always a function. Anyways, the mathematical process on how to find the inverse stays the same, and make sure that you follow those steps every single time and just be mindful of what your final output will be. If you found this video interesting, please drop a like and comment any questions that you have. Subscribe for more fun and easy to follow math videos. I'll see you next time.